Sons of Adam and daughters of Eve. Welcome to Stories and Stanzas, a space where stories come to life.
This week's story is written by Odibo Choma and it's titled Bread and Fish. I would never forget this day in a hurry. The day I saw a miracle with my own eyes. My mother had sent me to the market to buy fish and bread for supper. On my way home, I saw a crowd gathering by the Sea of Galilee. I got curious and went to see what it was about. I met an adult. Shalom, I greeted. Could you please tell me what is going on here? Shalom! Jesus of Nazareth is here and he is about to teach, he said, rather excited. Jesus of Nazareth? I thought to myself, I haven't listened to him teach before, but Abba and Mother speak of him quite often. They say he performs miracles and he claims to be the Son of God. I also heard he turned water into wine at the wedding in Cana. As young as I was, I decided to walk up to him. I intended asking him to kindly turn some water from the sea into wine so I could take home for supper. So determined, I held my basket of 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes, and I began to trudge through the crowd, hoping to get to the front where Jesus was. Halfway there, I looked. I could see Jesus speaking to his disciples. I guess there was a problem. I wasn't sure what it was. I couldn't really hear them. I thought to myself, perhaps he is telling them something about heaven. People did say he claimed to be the Son of God. It didn't matter to me what they were discussing. All I wanted was wine from water. As I got closer, I saw one of Jesus' disciples, Andrew, who was Simon Peter's brother. I recognized him. We had been neighbors once before they started following Jesus and moved in with him. I figured this was my chance of meeting Jesus and getting some wine. So I called out to Andrew and he looked rather puzzled upon seeing me. Jamin, he said as he started towards me, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at home by this hour? Where are your parents? Shalom. I came to see Jesus and listen to him teach, I said, rather ashamed of myself. He was right. I should be at home. My mother was waiting for the belly loaves and fishes. What is in the basket? He asked. 5 belly loaves and 2 fishes. I replied, could you please take me to meet Jesus? Smiling softly, he beckoned on me to follow him. Rabbi, Andrew said, presenting me to Jesus, there is a lad here with 5 belly loaves and 2 fishes. What is your name, child? Jesus asked with a smile. He had the softest voice I had ever heard. It sounded like cascading waters. Shalom, Jamin. My name is Jamin. I come from the tribe of Simeon. Jamin. Such a lovely name. I am Jesus of Nazareth. Would you be so kind to lend me your loaves and fishes so I could feed the crowd? They are hungry, and I know you are too, he said calmly. Yes, I am. But you see, I started, the food is for my family's supper. If if I give it to you, we wouldn't have anything to eat. And besides, the food won't be enough for this large crowd. Oh no, he said, still smiling. Your family would have something to eat for supper. I would return the food after feeding the crowd. You would return the food after feeding the crowd. How would you do that? I asked, rather puzzled. Do not worry about the process, Jamin. Just trust me, he said, stretching out his hand. I didn't quite understand what was going on. I had come to ask Jesus for wine, and now he's asking for my food. I looked at Andrew quizzically, and he nodded at me. I didn't know this Jesus guy well enough to give him my family supper, but I knew Andrew. So if Jesus doesn't give my food back, I'll hold Andrew responsible and I'll tell Abba what had happened. Andrew would definitely pay for it. So I gave Jesus the basket. He took it, lifted it up, and said, Father, thank you for this food you have provided. Then he gave it to his disciples to share to the crowd. I watched as they asked everyone to sit down. Then they began to share the food. That was when I saw it. The food didn't exhaust. They shared it to about 5,000 men, and yet it didn't finish. I couldn't understand what was going on. I knew how many barley loaves and fishes I had given to Jesus. They weren't 5,000 in number. I looked at Jesus, and he still had the same smile on him. I asked how he did it, and he said he didn't do anything of his own, but his Father in heaven did. He's the one who multiplied the food. All he did was thank him. After sharing the food, the disciples brought 12 baskets filled with barley loaves and fishes. Rabbi, these are the leftovers. Thank you, Jamin, for offering your food to me and the people, and to keep my word and show gratitude to you. Andrew and Simon Peter would help you carry 4 baskets home for you and your family. I was in awe. I didn't know what to say. I looked at the disciples. They weren't surprised as I was. I suppose they were used to seeing Jesus perform miracles. I fell to my knees and thanked him. I went home marveled and so excited. I was so amazed at the miracle that I had forgotten to ask for wine.
If you've got a story or poem you'd like to be featured on this podcast, send me a message at Pencil Speaks on Instagram or a mail at pencilspeaks01@gmail.com. I look forward to telling the world your story.